So welcome everyone. My name is Vera Grech. I use she, her pronouns. I am from the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. I am here to help out the Career Development Center. I will not be delivering this webinar. I'll be in the background watching the questions and answer box. So if anyone has any questions as this is going, I will be there typing in answers as I can. But all the ones for the presenter, we're going to leave for the end for a Q&A feature. So with that, I am going to turn off my screen and pass it on over to the Career Development Center. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. My name is Jamie Dillon. I'm the Associate Director of Employer Relations and Recruiting in the Career Development Center. Thank you for joining us today. As Vera said, if you have questions throughout the presentation, pop them in the Q&A box there, and then we can answer most of the questions at the end. So we will move forward. So the Career Development Center is now located in our new building called Unity Hall. And we are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We have drop-ins for our students, and that the drop-ins are something that you don't have to make an appointment for. You just want to have someone look at your resume, or you have a quick question, you can stop by our office, swipe in for a drop-in, and then we can answer your questions then. We do serve all of our undergraduate students, our graduate students, and alumni for life. So we do have one-on-one appointments advising students on a variety of topics that assist them through their entire process of job search, like resumes, interview assistance, and job offers. Some of the events that we do have on campus are info sessions where a company is going to talk about their company, tech talks where they talk about the cool technology or innovative things they're doing at their company. And these can be on campus or in person or virtual. Employers can also table in our career corner or in the campus center to meet students in more of a casual way. We have also set up some site visits with companies pre-pandemic where you haven't quite got there back to that stage yet, but we are open to that if students are interested in particular companies or if those companies are interested in having the students to their company. We do provide workshops and group sessions on a variety of topics. Student groups or academic departments can ask us to hold these workshops. They'll often partner with our office to meet the needs of their specific students. There are a lot of resources that I'll go over in the upcoming slides that are housed in our office for any student. And also we do have some resources that are open to the public. So the services that we provide to students within Handshake, which Handshake is a higher education focused recruiting management system, which allows companies to post opportunities for free. Handshake is used by WPI students and alumni to find full-time, part-time, internship, and co-op opportunities. Last year, employers posted over 50,000 unique job opportunities to our students. And we really try to house everything in Handshake. So for our employers, when they request events, that is in Handshake. So your student would be able to go into Handshake and see all of the things that are happening, whether that's through our office specifically or with employers as well. We welcome our employers to utilize their time most efficiently by coming to campus to conduct their interviews throughout the academic year. It's more convenient for the students. They don't have to find a way to drive somewhere, and they don't have to leave campus, and they can schedule those interviews in between their classes. We have a long history of 2 large career fairs, one in September and one in February. So pre-pandemic, we would have 200 plus companies in our rec center, 2,000 to 3,000 students in attendance for a very large in-person career fair. We also have offered smaller career fairs virtually throughout the year pre-pandemic. So last year, of course, we did almost exclusively virtual career fairs. And we did have like this fall and spring. So for those virtual events, we did have over 350 unique companies attending. Some companies attend both career fairs, so they can make the most out of their time here. The virtual career fairs that we did host, The students were able to sign up for a 10-minute one-on-one session or a group session that were hosted by the employers. For next year, we do anticipate offering both in-person and virtual events. Some of the resources that are housed in that Handshake are Career Shift. Career Shift is a tool for students who want to find contact information for employers or looking for different opportunities outside of Handshake. It has a really good job search board, and it pulls jobs from different companies from a variety of other websites. Vault is something that our students use for its career guides. There's some great information on different career paths, such as a day in the life of a civil engineer or the top 100 engineering firms. Going Global is a tool for our international students looking for companies that sponsor H-1B visas. The visa required to work in the US long-term. It's also a great tool for all students who are looking for opportunities outside of the US. There are guides on how to apply for jobs in other countries, write resumes for other countries, and even job boards in there. There are a lot of resources that are public on our website, including tip sheets on all aspects of career development. So you can just go to this Career Development Center website at wpi.edu, and you can look at these tip sheets. They're open for the public. We also have a career outlook page for each major with real WPI data on job titles, companies who've hired that major, and grad schools that students have gone to from that major. Our first destination outcomes is public data regarding where our students go directly after graduation. We have a really high knowledge rate and break down the data by major, degree level, and includes average salary information. No matter what school you attend, I really encourage you to look at this data at every school. It's going to help you determine that return on investment and also know like what companies are hiring, what kind of job. If your student really knows what kind of job they want to do, you know, what major should they major in? And we're here to help them figure all of those things out. So undergraduate and cooperative education, so the co-op program that we have, there are two different types of experiences that we have mostly when students are undergraduates here at WPI. So at WPI, we use the term internship for a summer experience that's usually 8 to 12 weeks long, and typically the students are not taking classes during that time. It's usually in the summer. The term co-op we use for an experience that's 4 to 8 months long and typically occurs partly in the summer and partly during the academic year. Co-ops at WPI are not credit bearing, therefore you don't pay for credits and you're out in the job working and making money throughout your experience. There is a process for approvals and you're still considered a student while you're doing a co-op. So you can live on campus if you need to, you can be part of your other activities and athletics while not taking classes. Co-ops are an opt-in here at WPI and are not embedded in the curriculum. However, there is a free term embedded in everybody's schedule in which it would make a co-op feasible for any student. Here's just a calendar of when these co-ops can happen. So at WPI, we're very flexible with the co-ops. So we're not saying you have to start on a certain date, you have to end on a certain date. It's really whatever works best for you and the company. So we will often have a student call in August and say, I'm at my internship, I'm working on a project and I'm not done, and they want me to stay. How can I turn this into a co-op? And we work with that student to make that happen. So you can have a regular, kind of a more regular co-op schedule, which would be like January to August or May to December, but you also can do that co-op for just one term into the summer or one term into the fall. So it's really up to you and what works best for you and the company. So for summer internships, who participates in these? So first year students can participate in internships all the way through graduate students. It's not required or I guess what I'm saying is first year students shouldn't be upset if they don't get an internship. So it's not something that every first year student does, but 80% of our students have some sort of internship opportunity before they leave campus, before they graduate. Internships are posted year round. So I get employers every day calling me, I have this new internship, I'm posting it right now today. So some companies will know in the fall what they're doing for the next summer, and some companies right now are just figuring out what they're doing for this summer. So internship postings happen all throughout the year. Most positions are major specific and paid, and we encourage our students to get paid for their internships. And students participate, as I said, in the summer months for an internship. The salary data that we have for internships are the average salaries are about almost $20 an hour is what we're seeing. So for the co-op program, students typically participate in the second half of their sophomore year or their junior year around their IQP, but we are seeing more and more seniors do it at the beginning of their senior year. Co-ops are, again, posted year round, depending on when they're going to start, always posting. And then positions must be major specific and paid. So in order to go through that approval process, they do have to be specific to your major. They do have to be paid. And students participate in the summer months in some sort of portion of the academic year. For co-ops, because they're a little bit longer, the employer has you for longer, you're doing more work, more in-depth work. We do see that the average salary is higher than the internships at $23.25 an hour. On this next slide, I do have a video about our co-ops. So I'm going to play that. Technical issue, apologies.
Not a lot of people get to say I worked at Tesla or I got to meet Elon Musk.
I've done 2 co-ops with the Walt Disney Company. It was amazing. I've always dreamed of working in theme parks, and I was able to learn how everything works behind the scenes. Co-op is an extended internship, so it's typically between 6 to 8 months long, and it's paid, and you're not taking classes at this time.
So the money that I got from my co-op, I used that to help me cover the expenses for my IQP in Denmark.
The co-op is an extension of project-based learning. A co-op gives students real-world experience. It is more open-ended. They can work on bigger projects, less direction, which is important for their growth.
I treat them just like they're an engineer, not as a co-op. And they come to team meetings, they participate in brainstorming sessions, they do anything that an engineer would do.
WPI co-ops and interns perform at ExxonMobil very well. I think the project organization and the project's curriculum that they have at WPI sets their students up for success when they come to ExxonMobil.
They learn a lot in the co-op. They gain experience, they often gain a job.
We hear from employers all the time that they're hiring 80 to 90% of their full-time hires from their co-op pools.
I feel like by doing a co-op, you not only grow skills-wise, but you also grow professionally. And once you return back to classes, you feel more polished and you feel more confident.
There are a lot of opportunities out there, and you want to find one that's a good fit for you. So meeting with the CDC, we can sit down and we can have a conversation about what are you looking for, what's valuable to you, what's important.
Carefully reviewing their degree path is really, really important, and making a 4-year plan.
So you still have full-time student privileges. You don't lose your scholarship. I was able to sit down with my academic advisor and go through my tracking sheet for my schedule and see if you were to do a co-op this time, these are when you would need to take these classes. And we were able to see that I was in fact able to take an entire semester off and still graduate on time.
We have a lot of students that come back from co-ops that say, I feel like I can do anything now. And I feel like my classes are easier because I've actually been in the workforce.
I do believe in this program. Believe strongly. It fits in the WPI culture. It fits in the plan.
Whether it's going to do a co-op, an internship, a full-time job, we're going to give you all the tools that you need to succeed in that area and really, achieve your dreams.
All right. So these are just a sampling of employers who do hire our students for co-ops. Again, it's not all inclusive, just a sampling of different employers. So I'll let you take a look at those. We typically have over 400 companies participate in on-campus recruiting each throughout the academic year. And I'm happy to answer any questions that might have in the Q&A. I'll also, I think I can, and Vera might help me with this. I can also provide some links for some websites. So some of those resources that I talked about, the first destination outcomes, the Outlook pages, and the resources, I can provide those for you as well. I think I can pop those in the Q&A. And if you have any questions moving forward, I'm happy to have you contact the Career Development Center at cdc@wpi.edu, and we're happy to answer your questions.
And popping back in now, there's one question for you, but while you're doing that, I'll post all of the links you just referenced into the chat so that our participants can click on those.
Thanks, Vera. So I do see that there is one question in the chat. What's the average amount of hours worked a week for internships and co-ops? And is it possible to have multiple internships and co-ops throughout your college journey? Absolutely. You can have multiple experiences throughout your college journey. We actually encourage that if you can and have the ability to have multiple internships, to have them at different places too, so that you can have a variety of different companies and different cultures that you've been a part of. So typically internships and co-ops, so co-ops definitely have to be over 30 hours a week to be approved as a co-op. And then internships are typically somewhere between 35 and 40 hours a week. We will often have students who do an internship and then maybe work part-time during the academic year for that company. If that works out for both of them, that's something that you would work out with your company. But definitely can have, like an internship after sophomore year, an internship after junior year, or an internship and a co-op.
So I have a question for you after I just posted all those. So if a student in their first year, it's their first month at WPI, comes into your office and they're already talking about an internship, how would you advise them in, August or September of their first year? What are the steps that they should take if they are looking for these kinds of opportunities?
Yeah, I think preparing your application materials is where we go. We sit down and we say, what types of things are you interested in? Let's take a look at your resume. Let's review your resume. Let's update it. Let's take a look at what jobs are out there, what you're specifically looking for. Again, we in our office know there are certain companies who will look for internships in the fall. There are certain companies that are looking in the spring. So it's best to, to have your full internship possibilities, to be ready in the fall, but you don't have to be. As I said, like today, I just got off the phone and they said, oh, I think we're too late to get an intern. And I'm like, no, you're not too late. Post it. There are still students looking. So I would encourage first year students to come to our office and see what we have available to them, even if that's just a conversation of like, what do you want to do? What are you interested in? And we start that conversation on like, well, you can start networking now. There are companies coming to campus and they might not be looking for you now as a first year student, but they will look for you next year and the next year. And I can't tell you the number of employers that are like, I've been talking to this student since their freshman year and they're so great. They come to our events and they make sure that they're saying hello and keeping us updated. And that's really, it starts at the beginning of your time here and then you move forward. So we're happy to provide advice to first year students. I do want to say there's no stress though. There's no stress for that first year student who does not have an internship. I have a first year student here. She does not have an internship for the summer. It's totally fine. So definitely not stressed, but there are things you can be doing. And any work is good work.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We see this a lot in our office. We have tour guides that work in our office. We have, different types of WPI students. And this is the time of year where the internship conversations are happening. And we have to remind them that, doing research over the summer or working in a job where you're having, maybe you're giving a presentation if you're working in admissions, all of these skills that you work in any type of job, any kind of work. I mean, you're the expert here, but it sounds like all of this will benefit you in the future, right?
Absolutely. There is a lot of transferable skills. And often, students in high school, they do like customer service related jobs. They're scooping ice cream or they're, like working at Marshall's or whatever. And those have such transferable skills and employers know that. And it's our job to help the student to showcase those transferable skills on their resume and their cover letters. So yes, absolutely. Any type of work is good work, even volunteering. Volunteering is great work. So there's a lot of different ways to take care of that after the first year of summer, even if you don't have an internship. So a lot of good things that can happen.
So we do have another question. Are appointments usually with a different counselor each time, or do students meet with the same counselor on a continuous basis? Good question.
That's a great question. So in our office, we're not given your student. So a student is not like given to me to have that ongoing relationship with that student. They're welcome to make appointments with the same counselor or career advisor if they happen to connect. Every career advisor is a little bit different, and it's kind of like a therapist or a personal trainer. You might meet with a couple and then really connect with one of them, and that's totally fine as well. There are certain people like in any office, subject matter experts, so we have someone in our office who specifically knows a lot about portfolios. And so if someone came to my office and wanted to really get into the nitty gritty about their portfolio, I would recommend that they make an appointment with that person who's in our office. So we definitely want to gear all of our advising to the student specifically, and happy to make that referral.
Great. So we have another question. Sounds like we have some international folks in the audience today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all of this that you've said, does it apply to international students? What about the visa work regulations?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you come to campus, I highly recommend that you connect, and you will, with International House, and they will be able to walk you through the whole visa process. However, I am also doing a webinar on Thursday about CPT. So our international students do find work, and they are able to work after that first year. And it is a little bit more difficult because they do have to go through this additional process. So not more difficult to find, but just a little bit more hoops to jump through for you. So best to be super prepared. So there are companies who are hiring our students. We do actually see a lot of international students doing co-ops. So there are things that you have to do in order to get your work authorization, but we can assist you through that whole process. International House assists you through that whole process. So, and there are a lot of opportunities that are, like I said, 50,000 job opportunities last year alone. So there are a lot of opportunities for you. So after that first year, you can do it. And then if you need, I will say for those international students, you can work on campus during the academic year. So that would be something you might want to look into when you get to campus. And we also can help you with that and point you in the right directions.
Yeah, I'll just add, because I work in international admissions, so these are conversations I'm having every day as well. So on campus, you can work up to 20 hours a week within your visa regulations. So work in the admissions office, you can work in the Career Development Center. We both hire international students to work in our offices. And then during the summer, as long as that internship is directly related to your major, you can have this CPT process that Jamie just mentioned. And then again, because we are a STEM university and our students have STEM majors, when it comes to looking for a job after graduation, you're going to have a longer period of time. So it's 3 years as opposed to just 1, to have that work authorization in the United States before you have to switch your student visa over to a different type, the H-1B. So there are so many people on our campus who are knowledgeable about this. You have 2 of them right here in front of you. But our Career Development Center, I love, because they work so closely with our International House and help all of our international students. So that's just my personal side of it as well. So our next question is, do students participating in a double major or a master's, bachelor's combined still have time to do co-op, or would they graduate later?
That's a great question. And I will be completely transparent. If you are doing a 4-year BSMS, there is no time for a co-op and graduate at the same time. However, I will say the opportunities that a co-op provides you, they might be something you still want to look into and maybe graduate a year later or take a master's class, later. That's my personal opinion, but it's not going to fit in. It's not going to fit into 4 years. For a double major, it still could fit into that 4 years. That would be something that you would talk to academic advising about and create your plan. So if you are planning to do a co-op, what I really recommend is once you get to campus, meet with your academic advisor, see how you can plan that out, fit that in now, knowing that that's when you can do it in a certain term or whatnot, because there are more co-ops available to our students than there are students who want to do it. So really, if you want to do a co-op, we can assist you to get one. Absolutely. Because employers want that. It's what they want. And then they want to make that full-time hire afterwards, as Amanda said in the video. So I think 80% of our co-op students get that full-time offer for after graduation.
That's great. So our next question is financial aid adjusted when I make money from a co-op or internship? Could it increase a little?
I'm not sure if the question is around that you're going to make $25,000 a year on co-op and then you're not going to get financial aid, or if your financial aid will change while you're on co-op. So typically while you're on co-op, you don't take classes, so you're not going to get financial aid. We advise all of our students to talk to financial aid when they make this decision, because everybody's situation is different. And I am not in financial aid, so I don't want to say the wrong thing. So, and in the terms of that you made money and that your financial aid might change, again, I would ask financial aid. I don't know what that looks like, from their end, but I know that you'll have money, and that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Everyone's circumstances are just so different that it's hard to have one rule that can apply to everyone. So their email address, if you want to ask this question in advance, I will put it in the chat as well. It's just finaid@wpi.edu. Okay, we have time for a couple more questions if anyone has any last minute things.
Yeah, I'm happy to stay on and answer questions. I'm trying to think of what similar questions that students have asked. We get the most questions about. Sometimes people will ask about like job titles. That's in our Outlooks, our Outlook pages. So if you're looking for a specific job title, you can look in there. But job titles can be a little, they're different for every company. So it's not always indicative of what you'd be doing. But I think that sometimes that's a great way to look and see like, well, if I get this, if I'm in this major, what can I do after this major? And there's a bunch of job titles in there. There's also the companies that hire those majors. It's those companies that's an inclusive of all the companies that hired that major for that particular year. But that's only what students are telling us. So there could be students at other employers and they just don't tell us that. So there might be some other things going on. How available are on-campus jobs for students that do not have a job in their financial aid package? Yes, so not federally funded, not federal work study. There are jobs on campus for that. I know, I'll just throw it out there. I know our office hires non-financial aid students. But yes, it's a very specific type of job. And when you arrive at campus, you're welcome to come and talk to us and we can show you where those are. But yes, there are jobs available for non-financial aid workers.
Yeah, my advice is always when you get to campus, you'll meet upperclassmen and you, especially, I think this one came from an international student, you'll see where other international students are working on campus. And that is an easy way to identify who hires students that don't have federal financial aid work study. So always make yourself known, even if, if our office isn't hiring this month, but I know in 3 months we will. I know you expressed interest, so you'll be one of the students that I reach out to when it comes time to hire, and I'll share the link with you for you to put in your application. So that is usually the tip I give to the students is I'm like the Career Center is one that hires international students, the Campus Center, the Innovation Studio. So we know where they are, the pockets. International House can help with that.
Yeah.
But that same thing goes for anyone, even, you know, US citizens who are looking for an on-campus job. There are opportunities.
Yep.
Okay, any last questions?
And again, if you have questions like later tonight, you're like, oh, I didn't ask about this, feel free to email us at cdc at wpi.edu. If a student, there's another question. If a student is still undecided about career path, what kind of investment might be involved in researching career options and types of employers in different careers? Yeah. Yeah, so we do have a class that we also offer for our first year students, Discovering Majors and Careers. It's 1/12 credit, but it walks you through kind of like exploring different careers and different paths and different majors. And then you speak with a career advisor and you have this class, and we also make them do their resume and all of those good things. So that might be something good for your student who's still just unsure about what specifically they want to do. You dive a little bit deeper. It's not a heavy lift for students, because we know that, you know, you're here and you're a first year student. But I think that that can be really helpful in this process. If that's not something that they want to do, they can definitely meet with people in our office to talk about that, meet with their academic advisor to talk about, like, how do I fit these things in? But students change their majors, and that's okay. You know, it happens. There's plenty of time for that. We understand that it's not a done deal. It is a great course. I taught it last summer. It was great. But we definitely offer that. And I think that would be really good, because you're able to talk to someone and talk through it and ask questions. And then the other students are asking questions of other students. It's really collaborative. But again, if your student doesn't want to do that, you can certainly make appointments with us and we can talk them through it. Yeah, so our office, the Career Development Center, is an opt-in. So there is nothing required for you to do here. So the question is, does WPI offer a class to teach students how to write their resume and prepare interviews? But that's what our office does. So we will have workshops, so group sessions, especially as we lead up to the career fairs, to write your resume, to review your resume, what to do in interviews. So all of those things you can ask our office, but there is the Discovering Majors and Careers does go through your resume and talk about certain things. So you could take that class and that will walk you through the process of your resume. Would this class take the place of another class that is scheduled for the fall? So no, you would take it in addition to your 3 classes that you typically take in a term. But again, it's 1/12 credit, so that it typically meets once a week as opposed to more often. It's not a heavy lift, but you can certainly fit it in, and we do have a lot of students that take advantage of it. Are there practice interview seminars? So we definitely will do mock interviews in our office. We also have a platform embedded in our Handshake where you can, it's like it videos you answering questions, and then you review it, and you can keep re-recording over it. But then you would submit that to our office, come in and talk to a career advisor about your interview. And then we would talk to you about, like, you know, changes you could make in that interview, so that you can just feel like that you're presenting yourself in the way that you would like to. That's a great question. You guys have great questions tonight. That's awesome. Thank you.
And what happens after WPI? What if 10 years after you graduate, you decide to switch jobs and you haven't updated your resume in 10 years?
We're seeing that. We're seeing that with the Great Resignation. Definitely those students are reaching back out to us, and we're happy to assist in our alumni in reviewing their resume, talking about career paths. There have been quite a few alumni who are looking to maybe change career paths, and we are open to that conversation. So you do get our services for life, which is an amazing thing. If you look at other schools, you know, not offered very often. So yeah, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, 5 years, 2 years, the day after graduation, come on in, we're going to help you out.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your expertise this afternoon, evening, morning, depending on what part of the planet you're on today. But I will end the recording in just a minute. I just want to again say thank you so much. Thank you for our audience. Thank you for the questions. I think they were excellent today. You really tested our knowledge over here. And we hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. I know here in Worcester, we have a nice 60-degree day today, so I have to go out and get a little bit of sun before it sets for the night. Thank you, everyone. Any doubts, you can always reach out to any of our offices. We are admissions at wpi.edu for any admissions questions, and then CDC at wpi.edu for the Career Development Center. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.